Greetings and welcome to Armored Core Reforged, the series where I take the preset ACs of the game and optimize them to the best of my abilities, preferably making them viable in PvP. The process will consist of me going over the original build, then I will go over the upgraded version and all the thought behind it. And then finally, me and a volunteer will do a final PvP test to see which version of the build is indeed superior. As well as after this video goes up, I will be making a community post where you guys can vote as to which preset will be the next featured on Reforged. But all that said, you have yourself a very good one, and enjoy. Greetings and welcome back to Reforged. Last episode we took a look at V3's dual nature, and in that video, like usual, I asked y'all to give the Reforge a new name. And out of the honestly really good name suggestions, I like the most Consensus. I think it matches nice and well. The dual nature working together in synergy. I like the meaning behind it. I love the thought. It is very nice. I think it fits, and it is most epic. Indubitably. Thank you all for the fantastical names. As you can see in this video, we're going to be taking a look at V5 Indubitably, which we made the Reforged variant of this build last live. I live stream every Monday of the Requiem builds and Reforged builds indubitably. So without further ado, let's get into it. Already in the Refigued AC is a primarily plasma and laser weapon wielding Tetra AC. For the primary weapons, we have the 60 PR plasma rifle. This plasma rifle is alright for doing that big kind of burst damage, as its fire rate is pretty damn slow. Its charge shot is pretty devastating, as it's kind of like a shotgun blast of 3 projectiles and a big ass AoE. So that's pretty nice. A solid-ish weapon in 3s, as AoE damage is huge in there. For 1v1s, not too crazy. You'll definitely get some good value with that spread. Most likely to hit your opponent, especially if they're a bigger target. But yeah, it's kind of like the slower but stronger variant of the Nebula. So it's kind of pick your poison between those that are the only real plasma rifles anyway. Next we have the Laser Blade, an interesting melee weapon. The normal attack is very nice, very quick. The charge attack is definitely where it shines, and it gives its unique traits. Each actual swing, you have 2 of them, and each of them give off a mini stun. So if you hit any type of opponent in them, you'll completely stop them and stop whatever they're preparing to do, whether that's fire at a weapon or run or what have ye. So that can be very solid, although it's a little inconsistent in how much it lands, especially when it comes to verticality. Verticality is the enemy of pretty much all melee weapons, and this weapon is no exception. It's pretty bad when the enemy is above or below you, as you'll just swing pretty much at nothing. It's pretty good for entry denial. The charge up is pretty slow, so you might get kicked out of trying to do it, which can be rough. But yeah, overall, it's a melee weapon. It can work where it works, especially on direct hit as a staggered punish. And then for shoulder mounts, we have the LCS Laser Cannon, an absolutely goated weapon. Honestly, one of the best weapons in the game, especially if you pair it with a dual variant. Super solid. The charge attack is neat. Gives off a mini stun once it hits, I'm pretty sure. But honestly, it's not really what you wanted to use. You're going to want to be using the normal attack, as the normal attack is goated, fires out quick, has lots and lots of range, good accuracy. You can fire it up to 4 times before it goes on cooldown, and of course, as it is an energy-based weapon, can be boosted by a generator's energy output, or rather, energy firearm spec. And of course, it's wearing Tetra legs. As long as we're hovering, we can fire this without stopping. And then lastly, we have the dual variant of the normal plasma missile launcher, a pretty nice option to just keep the stagger meter constantly up, as its detonation range is very nice. Its accuracy is not the greatest, or rather its guidance. And it being a slower projectile means that it's more likely to be dodged and not be able to come back. And because of its guidance not being very high, if it misses, it's not going to come back. It's just going to keep on going and detonate, and that's kind of it. So it's neat. I would definitely take the vertical variant of it over it any day, as those are more or less guaranteed to land because they are vertical and their guidance is goated. But yeah, these are neat. They fire up fast, they come back quick. They're pretty neat for just getting a little bit of damage, constant stagger, but like I said, they're pretty avoidable. Alright, for frame parts, nothing specific that gives our build a defining edge, other than, of course, our tetrapod legs, which, like I alluded to, when in hover mode, you get an increase of speed than what you're actually portrayed, as well as the boost distance is increased and is pretty nice. And like I said, when hovering, you can fire weapons that would normally stop you in place, and instead you would not stop in place. You can just keep on moving around and firing them, which is always nice. And with this current assortment, we have 11,500 AP, which is great. 1,200 defenses, also great. 2,200 stability, fucking solid. We can shrug off an assault armor with that. And base boost speed of 266, which is not great. Although I believe naturally when we're hovering, our speed is around 3 or 4. And then, yeah, our actual boost speed is 270, but again, when hovering, it tends to go a lot further. For inner parts, for boosters, we have the Bristle Booster, the Max Assault Boost Booster, super good for heavier builds that want to close the distance, as of course, when assault boosting, we're going to be moving at max speed, as well as its quick boost reload. Ideal weight is incredibly generous, allowing us to boost multiple times consecutively. And for FCS, we have the 21A, the best long-range assist FCS, which is kind of in contrast to not only our loadout, but our booster, as our booster is really good for closing the distance. It's really fast. I guess you could use it for running away, but still very interesting to have a more medium to long range FCS when our weapons work much better at a closer range, especially our laser cannon and of course our melee itself. But I guess you could say the intended playstyle of a build like this with these inner parts, I can only assume and deduce that it's more of a let the enemy come to us and kind of sit there waiting to trap them, as in we fly up, maybe fly away from them, hover up, they come towards us, and we just meet them with a face full of lasers and melee. But that is a very not effective playstyle. All right, for generator, we have the VP20D. Pretty light, great capacity, decent recharge, supply recovery, definitely not a strong suit, but it is, yeah, it's an alright generator. You could probably run better, but you know, it's not that bad. And for expansion, pulse armor, very nice. All right, for playstyle, getting your, I guess, medium to long range, so you have actual good FCS tracking. Fire missiles literally whenever, because they come back so fast. Primarily use the charge attack to get that AoE damage, but see, at long range, it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the, damn. It's really, oh man, the weapons really want to be used at close range, so you can just constantly pelt them with damage and go in for that sweep on that direct hit. But the FCS really doesn't want you to, which is just so weird. So yeah, the better way to play is just, you know, hover at close range, dodge around, use your, pretty much just spam everything you can other than, I guess, your melee, and wait for your melee to have a prime opportunity, indubitably, such as direct hit. Yeah, it's really weird. The FCS doesn't want you to play at more close range, but the weapons are just goated for it. So it's very interesting, very strange, very unoptimized, indubitably. Maybe just threw on the FCS because it's all he had. But yes, this is the original build. Let's take her into the forge. これがレクイエムだ. And here we are, Reforged. For the primary weapons, I ended up switching the PR plasma rifle to the Nebula, as it is the faster but weaker variant of it, although the charge attack, honestly, like the Nebulas a lot more, as it is more precise, meaning you'll get more out of it without worrying about the other shots missing. It's better at more at ranged, and all the good stuff. And for melee weapon, I ended up switching the laser blade to the much more Tetra-friendly plasma hammer, or plasma thrower, the hammer itself, as you can use it while moving around naturally, which you normally can't do. Anytime you use this on bipedal, you stand still for it, or reverse joint. But on tank and Tetra, you can move around whether you're hovering or not and still throw this baby out, which is always dope. The charge attack isn't that great, not worth using, but the normal attack is goated on the sauce. High amounts of stagger and high amounts of damage. And for the back weapons, I just decided to slap on double LCSs, as these are fucking goated when paired together. And again, on Tetra, we can use them while moving around, and they are incredibly oppressive like that. And just like the original build, I made sure to have a nice balance between plasma-based weaponry and laser-based weaponry, just deciding to double it up on the primaries and the back instead of one on the back, one on the primary. And for frame parts, we have the Viral Head, Tang Core, Ephemeral Arms, and Viral Legs. With upgraded parts and weapons on the original build, with the 424 legs, you pretty much be hitting the same amount of speed that you'd be hitting on both legs, even when hovering. So I decided to just get the extra muscle and go with the Viral Legs indubitably. You'll see this loadout of parts on Viral cores, or Viral armored cores, that I upgrade often, as these are pretty much like the best parts in my opinion, at least for a more tankier close range appearance. And for inner parts, for boosters, going with the Coral, as I find the Coral to be absolutely goated for heavier weights, especially Tetras, as when you're hovering, because it's max quick boost thrust, you're going to be fucking zooming. As well as its reload is very generous for a build like ours, even despite us being over 100k and that being 90k, the reload weight being 90k. It's pretty generous. Even if you're not exactly on dot, you'll still be seeing some benefit. So our reload should be nice, our distance should be nice, and our assault boost should also be not so bad. Alternatively, you could run back to the Bristle Booster if you're in like a 3v3 scenario and you just want to get to the fight as fast as possible, but in 1v1s, I highly recommend the Coral. For FCS, running the Walt, as now we'll have much better tracking in all areas of ranges, but primarily just medium to close range. And for generators, switching to the Coral, as it's pretty much the only / best generator for handling all this tech, as our current Ian load is very close to shortfall, so Coral definitely helps us out here. And lastly, Pulse Armor, which is now increased by our Coral Generator. Alright, the playstyle for this one is a little simpler, getting in pretty much any range now that we have the Walt FCS. You can either just keep on using the charge attack of the Nebula or normal shot, either one works, but primarily what you want to do is just keep dodging around the enemy, fire off your LCSs whenever you get the chance, and hammer on direct hit. Or you're going to use the hammer on non-direct hit, as you'll still be doing much the stagger damage, indeed. Whether that's to proc it or just build it up. And yeah, you can also just use the plasma and just kind of melt them whenever they're on direct hit. Whether you're using the kicks into LCSs, which are always epic. But yeah, no, you can kind of just shred people with this type of assortment. Double LCSs on almost anything is always going to be goated, but on Tetras especially so, because you can just dodge around them, dance around them, and fire out these. So good. Yes, this is indeed Reforged. Alright, me and my buddy Light are going to be doing the PvP test. He'll be piloting the original, I'll be piloting Reforged, and we shall battle for supremacy. Enjoy.
Those we did are kind of all over the place.
Oh, for sure. I think devs, makers of the game design, all that good stuff, they were definitely more about character and make sure they had a spread of weapons throughout the NPCs and stuff like that, rather than being like, alright, this is like competitively optimal. But that's where I come in, indubitably. We'll take them to their true potential. Oh my god, I can smell you. I have a whip. He too has a melee. Whip. Whip doesn't work so close range. Oh. Get your ass back here! Did you leave Big Baloney? Yeah, Laser Blade, I like it as a weapon, it's neat, but it's just so, like, weird. Like, in terms of like, the enemy of all melee is verticality, but that one especially so. Try to hit someone above you with that, you're just fucking swinging at nothing.
Oh, yeah.
It's rough. Oh, I catch right before you swung, that's fucked. Pew pew. Whip,
oh, wow.
Yeah. What a guy, V5, what a guy. What a build. Yeah, one LCS is neat, but it's never, ever enough. I think that is it for this episode of Reforged. If you have an epic name for this new Reforged variant, please do leave it in the comments, and I shall reveal my pick in the next episode. Next episode, we're probably going to take a look at either Freud or Snail. I'll put a post up, a community poll, to see which one y'all want to see first, and we'll upgrade it next live. And yeah, feel free to take a look at Light's YouTube channel. He posts some Armored Core content over there, one of which was from our fight club that we held a little while back at Cosplay Fight Club. So yeah, big ups, Deadmans. Thank you so much for helping there, Light. So thank you all, the viewers, so much for watching. I appreciate y'all very, very much. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out.